All right, so what I want to talk about today is the death, in my opinion, of LMS. Um, let's just go through each one of the letters: looks, money, and status. In my opinion, 2020 moving forward, it's 2019 even. Money is really irrelevant for not the vast majority of men in their 20s. Um, I think you can't just flash your money around. You can't really go around showing your bank account to women. You can't, the vast majority of your value is in LLS. It's LLS, looks, location, and status. All right, now let me break it down for you so we can go slowly. All right, so uh, so I think in regards to relevancy for men in the West or men anywhere really, it's looks, location, status. Now let's go. Let's say location, look, status, because let's just go through the groundbreaking ones first. Location. Now, why location? Why not money? All right. Now, in the new world, women are much more. They make their own money, and that's just something we have to accept. Majority of women make their own money, so they're gonna just latch on to the next thing, which is visual aspects. As women become more visual, they will pretty much they will be more receptive towards fetishes, carnal fetishes, racial fetishes. They'll be more how do you say it? They're more receptive, and they'll be more able to act on whatever that stimulates their visual part of their brain, right? Before, sure, like way before, they might be visually stimulated, but they wouldn't out of tradition or because another guy made money and they can actually make her have a decent lifestyle. Now the majority of women work and all that. Looks and fetishes are just much more important in these days. So that's one part of location, because you can play towards your racial fetishes and whatever girls are into, like what trendy actor looks like you, etc., just by being in a different location. Girls are open to different guys based on different locations. As we can see, many times a lot of the guys in good locations don't even have to cold approach. They can literally just open a dating site, or they can just go to a bar and do the old school, just say hello. And if they are the racial fetish of that town, then he will be able to, get through these barriers and all that. So I think that's just much more important going forward. Location, of where you are, of how valued you are in that location. That's the first part of location, all right? Now, the second part of why I think location takes over money these days is that as we go forward towards the 20s and the 30s and beyond, at least for the next decade or two, there's going to be more metropolis. There's going to be more small towns being deserted, or medium towns being deserted because of people wanting to live in cities. And as more jobs become more how do I say it, like automated, and the FANG, the Facebook, Google, Amazon, only few companies taking the majority of the workforce, and men working at these companies, those kind of places in tech cities create sausage fests. They create huge, massive sausage fests, and you see 8s dating 5s, you see 7s struggling to get a 5. And this is already apparent in the Northwest. So that's another part of the location. If you want, some locations are straight up sausage fests, with, like I said, guys guys having to go on steroids, or just like you have 8s competing for 5s, you have 6s, 5s thinking they're 7s and 8s because of sexual inflation, just because of the bad gender ratio. Some towns are just very bad, and then some towns are okay. And the thing about the West is the vast majority of the West favors women because of men from other countries coming here and sending money back home, and et cetera, et cetera. So one part is fetishes, carnal fetishes, etc., and the other part is that some towns are just really bad sausage fest because of how bad of tech cities they have become for the workforce. And think about it; these are kind of like the majority of the only jobs available at many men that want to make a 100K income, 90K income, etc., and higher. So So yeah, that's what creates that location is extremely important. For anyone that, so let's say like tech cities, right? So in the U.S., like I said before, the worst part is the Northwest, um, and there's many variables why, but I think just by simple math, there's just more men than women, more male engineers than women, and creates a huge, massive gender imbalance. Outside of enclaves, hoods, etc., and all that. So that's one big part of the equation is location look status. Some locations are just brutal for men in general, and some locations are brutal for men that look like you. So you're gonna have to be aware of your location and how bad that is for you or good. So that's one part. And I think that's more important than money these days. Money doesn't mean much unless you're making the thing is, money doesn't mean much in general. It can only mean something if it can transfer into your location, your looks, or your status. How can money transfer into location? Money can transfer into your location by being able to go to a country where you're perhaps fetishized, or where the women are more homegrown, and you can play that to your strengths, or a place where you're not deemed as bad sexually, and you're neutral. Money can play into status by buying Instagram followers. You could go and buy Instagram followers. You keep on following people, you follow back, you make it like a game, and then boom, all of a sudden you somehow have a lot of followers, and you hire a very good photographer, and you hire him to follow you, and you go to extravagant places, and you create this lifestyle way that you act, even though it's kind of a facade. And that's money. You have to pay that photographer, you have to pay the person taking the video, you have to pay the gas to go to these places. Most 9-to-5ers or guys working overtime to trying to pay rent can't do that. So that's one part. And money can play into your looks by getting a surgery. If you're everything about your